OTAs officially kicked off the Jets yesterday, but today, media muted there for a second. OTAs officially kicked off yesterday for the New York Jets in Florham Park, New Jersey, but no media in attendance today. A different story. Media was in Florham Park. Aaron Glenn, Garrett Wilson, and many more addressed the media. What are some main takeaways from those press conferences? Plus, what did Justin Fields look like out on the practice field in a Jet uniform for the first time? We'll talk about that and much more, all coming up here on a Wednesday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, joined by our guy Matt O'Leary here in his weekly spot. Let's go.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
What is going on, everyone? Hello and welcome back here into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. Appreciate you all joining us here on this Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe on your way into the building. It's completely free and it helps us grow significantly, lets many other people know about this program, brings other Jet fans into the community. So please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. That's the free way to help us grow. The paid way that helps us just as much you can get into our membership raffle. You guys have been super generous this month. And every $2.99 Super Chat or gifted membership gives you a raffle entry and an opportunity to win a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, Kevin Wise signed mini helmet, Aaron Glenn signed trading card, Jonathan Vilma signed photo, Bart Scott signed photo, a free item from our merch store and a channel emoji. Like, share, and subscribe. Every $2.99 Super Chat gives you a raffle entry or gifted membership. More entries you have, the more entries you have, the higher chance you have of winning. Back, Chris and Jack held it down last night. Unfortunately, I was tied up at a mandatory school chorus concert. Those are never fun. I was not there willingly. I'm forced to take chorus class at school, and I don't think I got home till about 9:15 last night. So certainly not fun. But we're back today, and that's all that matters. And who joins us every single Wednesday is here yet again to chop it up with us. Just content creator Matt O'Leary graces us with his presence. Matt, OTAs are underway, and as Aaron Glenn said, jobs aren't going to be won and lost in underwear. So OTAs are underway. Islanders have the number one overall pick. A lot of moving pieces with your Isles. How you feeling?
I'm in a great spot right now. I'm definitely in a great spot with the Jets and Islanders, and yeah, with the Jets, I'm a fiend. I'm just excited for any content I can get. I get it. Like the coach said, no one's winning a job in their underwear, but I'll take all the slow motion passes that I can get right now.
Certainly. I mean, the things that I personally look for throughout these next few days are the quotes from obviously Aaron Glenn, who spoke to reporters today, Garrett Wilson, among many other players, and also how players are, technically sound, how they've improved their technique, whether it's as a pass block or as a run stuff or anything of that nature. And then, I don't really buy too much into the fact like, oh, Justin Fields went 4 of 4 and 11 on 11 today. Like, come on, these guys are in shorts. I don't put stock into that. I more kind of put stock in, like, another thing, for example, Will McDonald bulking up. We heard that he added 15 pounds this offseason. That's something that's interesting. Speaking of, kind of the takeaways from today's press conferences, Garrett Wilson went out and he said, I'm hopeful to be a Jet for life. He believes something special is going to be built here with Aaron Glenn as the new head coach. I mean, that's everything you want to hear out of the guy that you're going to have to sign to an extension relatively soon.
Yeah, 100%. I've been on this for a while that I'd like to see Garrett Wilson get an extension this offseason. I think he's the exact kind of player you want to build around. He's come in and been productive right away in a tough circumstance with, some not so great quarterback play through the first few years, of his NFL career. And then off the field, I think he's handled everything exactly how you want it to. I think he's an emerging leader. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a captain soon, one of these days. And I think the Jets should be a team that, rewards players that they draft and meet or exceed their expectations.
Undoubtedly so. So we also heard from Garrett that there's been some talks between the Jets and his camp about a potential extension, which is what you want to hear. I think as long as the Jets get this nailed out, they made it clear they have their best interest in keeping Garrett. They picked up his fifth-year option a month or so ago. So I think he got to do everything he can with Garrett Wilson to make him part of this offense. Aaron Glenn said today, just give him the ball as much as possible. Love that game plan. Last year, obviously, he didn't get as involved as he would have liked, especially after Devontae Adams was acquired by the Jets. But Garrett Wilson looks to have another monstrous season, looks to continue a streak since he's entered the NFL of now going on 4 straight 1,000-yard years. So Garrett Wilson, you really hope the Jets are able to nail something out with him sooner rather than later. Wilson also went on to say, he mentioned some of the veterans, and Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds, say they bring quote, major vet energy. There's been a lot of question marks, Matt, how the Jets are going to split these targets behind Garrett Wilson and Mason Taylor. What do you think a guy like Tyler Johnson, because we spoke a lot about Josh Reynolds' how he'll fit in the blocking game. Tyler Johnson's a name that's kind of flown under the radar. How do you think he's going to be able to carve out a role in this team's offensive system?
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of him. I think he could be anywhere between the 3rd and 6th receiver on this team, which I know that's a really big range, but I genuinely I don't know what we're going to get from him. He's been an okay veteran, bounced around the league for a little bit. The Jets wide receiver room is not a strength of this team, so it depends. And that's someone that I think Jet fans should keep a close eye on during training camp when we get there, a little over a month from now, a couple months from now, I guess 2 months from now. That's interesting to me is how this wide receiver room is going to shake out. But he, like everyone in that room, really has an opportunity to earn a job because nothing is really written in stone outside of Garrett Wilson at number 1.
Allen Lazard, Matt, what do you want the Jets to do with him? Are you open to keeping him on this roster? Do you want to cut him after post-June 1, save some money? What should the Jets do with Allen Lazard as the questions begin to emerge?
Yeah, I would still move on, I think. Him and Josh Reynolds are very similar stylistically, right? Like they're both bigger outside wide receivers. And for me, I think Reynolds, I know he had a not so great year last year, but they know what he is in this offense. He was with Detroit 2 years ago, had a really nice season there. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they prefer Reynolds over an Allen Lazard, even though last year, undeniably Lazard was more productive. I think, you can make the case that Reynolds is a better fit in this offense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they still ended up moving on here, especially if Aaron Rodgers ever decides that he's going to play in Pittsburgh. I could see Lazard linking back up with him there.
Another key takeaway from today that's kind of flown under the radar a little bit is the Jets had 100% attendance at OTA, something they haven't accomplished in a long time. Do you think this is a testament of what Aaron Glenn's been preaching all offseason, getting players eager to come in and fight for spots on this team?
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's something that I'm really looking forward to this during this period is kind of just seeing who's gonna step up and really take over a role here. And I think they have every opportunity to do that. One, obviously we don't really know a ton during OTAs, but as the weeks continue to go on and as you get into the mini camp and then eventually get into training camp, I think you'll begin to start to see guys slotting into certain spots and where they're going to be on this roster and on the depth chart. And I definitely think it's something we see.
Matt, the kicker position. I know you've spoken a lot about Caden Davis, someone you'd like to see really make a push at this roster. Anders Carlson, who started a few games for the Jets, though, still in town. Looking at this tweet here from Zach Rosenblatt. Carlson started off today nailing a 54-yarder, moved closer, missed wide left, and then moved back to the 50-yard range and made 2 in a row, 3 for 4. Caden Davis went 2 of 3 and missed a long one. Do you think Anders Carlson is going to be in play to potentially be this team's starting kicker? Do you think it's going to be an open competition this summer?
Yeah, I think it's an open competition, right? And Carlson, I think, had the better day today. And, in my video, I made it clear that, look, this is only day 1 of OTAs or technically day 2, but the media wasn't there yesterday, so we weren't getting these kind of reports. So it's very early in the process. I don't think we could say definitively if one guy is going to be the kicker over the other right now. But I do think it is an open competition between those two guys.
Definitely. Appreciate you all tuning in. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe to all your questions for us in the chat and call into the show with the pin comment. Matt, who's one player you're really, really looking out for throughout the remaining phases of OTAs?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. There's a very chalk answer, but it's hard not to go to Justin Fields because it's such a big unknown going into this year. He's been in the league now for 4 years. Had two different stops between the Chicago Bears and Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is probably his last chance to be a starter in the NFL. So he's got to prove it, and he has a lot to prove to not only himself but to this team, and if he's going to be the franchise quarterback or not going forward. So I know that's really a chalk answer, but it's hard not to go to the quarterback position first here.
Give me Malachi Corley. This is someone who struggled to win over the coaching staff last year, someone who was never able to carve out a role. I think it starts day one of OTAs. Malachi Corley coming in with a good attitude, willing to adapt, fit in whatever role this coaching staff wants to fit him in. I wrote an article the other day for Jets X Factor. I think there's a chance he fits in really nicely with this Jets offense. The Jets really did not rely on motion last season. You can't say the same about Tanner Engstrand's former team, the Detroit Lions. I think the biggest thing for the Jets is going to be able to get Malachi Corley in motion, but for him to earn that opportunity, he needs to stick out in OTAs and training camp. And if he does, he could be a wide receiver too on this team if he really thrives this summer. I mean, that spot is pretty much wide open. So Malachi Corley is my name to watch. Will McDonald, kind of mentioned it a little earlier, though. He bulked up. We heard 15 pounds is what he gained this offseason. Matt, how do you think that kind of adjusts to his role on the defensive side of the ball?
I think it's good as long as he's still keeping his speed while adding this weight, which that's something that Glenn talked about, and he said it didn't seem like the weight has impacted his speed. Then I think it's a good thing because the Jets' run defense was pretty weak last year, and that's not a strength of Will McDonald's game, the run defense. So for me, I think this helps him be more competitive, setting the edge and doing the dirty work rather than we know how talented he is as a pass rusher, but there's more to the position than just getting after the quarterback, and I think this helps him.
Number 9 is the new number after Greg Zuerlein's been released. You like the switch from 99 to 9?
Not to be full old man yells at cloud, but I do miss the era where like every position had a number range. Like I don't really love the wide receivers like Matthew Golden rocking 22, or rocking like 43. Not an aesthetic look to me. So it looks cool on him. It does, but it's still hard for me to get used to a guy screaming off the edge wearing number 9.
Mark Gastineau jersey retirement incoming, Matt?
Well, they gave it right to Rashad Weaver. Who's
I didn't see that.
So there we go. Apparently not.
There we go. Rashad Weaver, the new number 99. I think Mark Gastineau's number should be retired by this team. I mean, this is someone who's on the fringe of becoming a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and his number's not retired. I don't think 99 should be worn again. And Rashad Weaver, who might not even make the roster wearing number 99, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't think he makes the roster. So who knows? Maybe this is just like, hey, you could wear it during camp, and then they come to their senses and maybe just, retire that number finally.
Speaking of someone who might not make this roster, Michael Clemens, a lot of Jet fans done with him, want to simply move on. Do you want to cut him right now, or do you want to give him some leeway, maybe see what he can do over the summer, and then go from there?
I think it makes sense for the Jets to move on. They would save over $3 million if they were to do that. And I'm kind of hoping that Tyler Barron takes over the Michael Clemens role, a guy you drafted in the 5th round, the guy you traded up for. So they obviously like him, but I'm not really all in on year 4 of Michael Clemens.
I'm not all in on Clemens, but my thing is he's certainly shown flashes throughout his first 2 years in the league of being a competent run stuffer. I don't think he's going to play a big role on this team. I think the blueprint for him to follow if he wants to make this roster is bulk up, put on 20, 25 pounds, slide into the inside full time, and see what he could do there. I mean, his first 2 years in the league, he was an all right run stuffer. He wasn't a liability in that facet of the game. I understand the penalty issues. If someone's going to be able to come in and straighten him out, that is going to be Aaron Glenn. You still save money by cutting him post June 1. Why not keep him around throughout the preseason? Why not keep him around throughout training camp and see what he could potentially do, Matt?
Yeah, and that's fair. If they want to give him a look in July, I'm totally okay with that. For me, I think when I'm narrowing this roster down to 53, I don't think he's going to make this team, but they keep it at 90 guys pretty much right until the end, right before the season starts. So don't hit the panic button if he's not cut by the time training camp rolls around.
What are your thoughts on how Derek Nandi could potentially fit into this defense? Because you see, 1 year he's a top run stuffer, 1 year he's one of the most inconsistent in the league. How do you think he's going to be able to find find a role on this roster?
Yeah, I mean, there's every opportunity for him to earn a job and be the starter next to Quinnen Williams, honestly. That's a wide open competition. I like Leonard Taylor a lot, who's, entering year 2, and I'd like to see him win it, but, it's not written in stone. I think it's totally up for grabs. If he can get back to the guy that he was earlier in his career, where he was really good against the run and had value there, then I would not be surprised to see him listed as the starter, especially on early downs.
Byron Cowart had 2 sacks today. That's not something I had on my bingo card. I mean, it's anyone's job. For all we know, I want to see Leonard Taylor be this defensive tackle too. I think he's an incredible football player, but at the same time, Nandi has the advantage of I'm a big space-eating one tech. That's the massive advantage he has. We've heard some of the UDFA names for Torma, Mulba, Peyton Page, those names we've heard. I want to go with someone who has NFL experience, and truthfully, though, it is really anyone's job to come in and slide in as this team's immediate defensive tackle 2 answer alongside Quinnen Williams. So Derek Nandi, though, certainly an interesting name to watch for this team. Matt, Breece Hall, what do you think he has to show this summer?
Yeah, I think Breece Hall looked like he bulked up this offseason, and I think that would be good for him because I think he didn't really break a ton of tackles last year, and he wasn't as elusive as he was earlier in his career. So, he's going into a contract year, and whether it's with the New York Jets or somewhere else, like he's playing for his next contract. So I think it's a huge year for him, and we need to see it, early on in the season too.
I feel like Irv Charles at the wide receiver position is a name that's kind of flown under the radar for this team, primarily because he was really a special teams only guy last year. He did get injured at a point. Do you think his roster spot is up for grabs, or do you think it's a surefire answer?
Yeah, I don't think it's a guarantee. They added a lot of guys on, who could be special teamers to this roster, whether it was through free agency or through the NFL draft. So I think, he's shown on tape that he's able to play the gunner position, and we'll see if the Jets want to do that again with him this year. But I don't look at him as a lock to make the roster.
Appreciate you tuning in. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. Matt and Connor here with you on a Wednesday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. I'll stay on here a little longer, answer some of your questions, take your calls. But Matt, appreciate you sparing some time for us. Always appreciate the time adjustment. You got any final thoughts here before we let you go?
Yeah, go Knicks. All right. Their game's coming up in a little bit. So to everyone who is a Knicks fan, I'm rooting for you guys.
Matt, appreciate you. Have a great night, my friend.
All right, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt O'Leary. Shoot him a follow. Shoot him a sub at Matt O'Leary and one of the best Jets content creators on the internet. I'll stay on here a couple more minutes before the Knicks game starts up. Answer if you guys have any questions, throw them in. Slow day today, so don't see that many questions. Call into the show with the pin comment. We'll take one call here before we wrap. Beast, what is going on?
Yo. Hey, should I say it? Game order tonight. You know who now you don't know who these guys are, right?
Who is that?
That's Testament.
Not familiar, Beast.
Heavy metal group from San Diego. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research, and yesterday I was not in the best of moods, but I'm going to let that go because I already took care of it with Bonesy in the bag. He's got, and plus on Monday, I'm not going to be entering that nasty session. Like I told Bonesy, it's nothing more than do you see what I'm doing with this? What does this look like? Fishing. You know what fishing looks like, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fishing expedition. Like, nope, no deal. I got better things to do with my family because it's more important. More important because it's Memorial Day, and you know what Memorial Day is? Nothing that says a good old burger on the grill and a steak on the grill.
Beast, you got any jet points here before we let you go?
Well, Michael Clemens has to go. I'm sorry. The guy has to go. He's lazy. The guy can't run. He's got 2 left feet, has no clue. It's like, dude, you got to go. You're finished. You're wiped out. You're clean. You're done. Finished. Finito. Grande. Docha. I'm throwing a lot of Italian in there too, a lot of English and Italian. This guy's got to go. He ain't worth it. Did you see how Clemens played last year? It was soggy. He couldn't even catch a quarterback. He was like, It's like, dude, what are you doing? The bula bula? Or are you gonna stand there like one of those apes going, It's like, get out of here. Get out of here. You can't even run. It's like if you're gonna tackle a quarterback, do something. That's why I say Clemens gotta go. He's not up to par. He ain't up to scale. He's not worth it. And I'm glad Zerline is gone. Now we gotta get Nick Folk. Bring him in. I want Nick Folk for one reason. The guy's got the leg. He's got the experience. Let's bring him to the table. And let's show him something called one of these. It's called fill in the amount. We'll pay you, but not the whole thing. Not the whole thing. $500 a week, as long as he shows up to work, and as long as he works with his teammates, his peers, his coaches, and other vice versa personnel. That's the way it goes. But if you don't want to be here, we'll take the other half of that check. We'll put it that cap space, and you can take your 3% and say
Peace, we appreciate it. You got any final thoughts?
No. Game 1. In the words of the great Judge Mills Lane, let's get it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beastbreaker checking in here on the show. Appreciate the call as always, Beast. Appreciate all of your support. Going to wrap up here soon. Quick little 20 minutes before the Knick game. Throwing final thoughts in here. Back tomorrow, as we do every single night here. May, so I know the views kind of chilled out a little bit, but completely get that. Just smash that like button, hit subscribe. If you haven't already, pumps out the content to those who are willing to talk about the Jets in May. And I know some of you are, so we appreciate you all sticking with us. Trust me, I know the content, the talking points, the news cycle can be boring at times. Completely get that. But I definitely appreciate you guys, the real ones who stick with us all 12 months of the year. Because there's a lot of you guys, there's a lot of people who I see only during the season. There's a lot of people I only see during free agency. There's a lot of people I only see leading up to the draft. And then there's the select few who I see all year round. So appreciate the hell out of you guys. As always, smash that like, hit subscribe. If you're a Knick fan, enjoy the game. I think the Pacers are going to win in 6. No bias involved. But hey, if you're a Knick fan, best of luck to you, my friends. Appreciate you all. Smash that like, hit subscribe. I'm your host, Connor Long. And we are signing off here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Have a great night, everyone. And as always, JTS. Jets, baby. Peace.